Man, this feels like a first date with people I don't know. Well, I guess if you wanted like the nutshell version, I wanted to be an actor pretty much my whole life, and that was why I moved out to Los Angeles in the first place.
Yep.
And within my first year of living here, I had just some small roles or successes in terms of acting, and then I had a sports injury where I had a softball incident where I went to sleep on a concussion, and it basically I woke up the next day talking very slowly, and that was because of the softball injury. So I had gotten hit with I got hit in the throat with the ball, and then I hit my head on the ground, which was the larger of the two injuries. And then I got dropped by all my acting representation. They're like, we can't help you. We can't help somebody who doesn't have control of their motor skills or whatever. So I started doing stand up as a means of like an artistic outlet, and that was I mean, I guess I don't know, the rest is whatever, but that's kind of my story thus far.
Would you say that maybe this accident changed who you were before and afterwards? Maybe your values and your morals?
Absolutely. I think, and it's not necessarily that who I was before was a bad person. It was just I was fearful to embrace my own insecurities, and so I projected that onto others by kind of being a little bit of a bully. Like, I was using humor as like in all the wrong ways, And now, I mean, I've kind of built a career on just making fun of myself and laughing at myself, And it's fine to laugh and poke fun at others too, but you have to be aware of. You have to be. I didn't have the ability to empathize with people or show compassion towards other people's situations. So only when you are put in a situation forcing you to deal with a problem that other people have problems every single day, so they wouldn't be so dissimilar, is really what forced me to change the way I viewed things and the way I viewed people and the way I should approach someone who maybe has a struggle that is not apparent at the surface, because everybody's got some sort of obstacle. It's just how you deal with it that makes you who you are.
So, what's your personal definition of success, and has that changed since being on America's Got Talent?
I struggle a lot with that balance. I struggle a lot with work and play. It's mostly always just work, and that's because I'm just very career driven. My idea when I first started out for success was I wanted people to take me seriously as a comedian, but also, which is, I mean, I wanted people to, I wanted people to take me seriously as a comedian, but also not think of my comedy as having to be reliant on my stutter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if that's how people identify, like if people identify in whatever way they identify, being, that's the kid who stutters, or that's a guy who overcame a thing, and I identify with that because I overcame a thing, or I should overcome a thing despite my own personal or mental setbacks. That to me is what I kind of define as success now. Is I used to think comedy was also about doing or saying and anything to get a laugh, and now I think it's about, I think if you can make people laugh, but if you can disguise the if you can disguise an idea but behind a joke that maybe changes people's POV or maybe changes the way they saw something initially, that to me is way more clever than just saying a thing that's funny. That to me means you're able to provoke change. That means you're able to there's a little bit of weight and merit to doing it.
I don't think people give comedians enough credit. I think especially in the world that we live in now, where everyone has to watch their P's and Q's, you can't say anything because everybody gets offended so easily. How do you feel about that?
Well, I personally hate it because for comedians, one of my favorite quotes, and it's not even mine, but it's just a thing that I always go back to, is that there's no such thing as an appropriate joke. That's what makes it a joke. In fact, that was kind of one of the things I found to be most difficult on America's Got Talent was you're working within a rubric. You're working within confines of, okay, you have to say things that make you unique and funny and eligible to keep advancing in this competition. However, you can't say something that possibly offends anyone that could ruin your campaign to getting to the end. So you have this very broad general area of topic where you're just like, all right, what do I say that pushes the envelope enough that it's still comedy, but not so far that people get offended and find it distasteful or whatever, and you end up exhausting yourself thinking about, okay, well, what do I if I say this, who am I offending, or if I say this, how am I appearing, or whatever, and I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of I used to be inhibited a little bit by people being worried by, like, oh, well, what if they think this of me, or what if they think I am this way because I say this or whatever. And honestly, I think in my YouTube videos and my vlog, that's who I am completely, and that's my sense of humor. So there are jokes on there that are like, wow, that was a little abrasive, or that was a little blunt, but it's a joke. I don't sincerely mean it. No. I'm a good person. I'm a transparent person, but I also think that you have to be able to poke fun at those things. Otherwise, you're kind of pulling the wool over your eyes of things, of topics that you can't talk about just because you're not willing to accept what is going on as a topic of controversy doesn't mean that it's not a thing that needs to be dealt with. The people that I've met who have the most twisted and sense of humor of, like, to me, which is of depth and a little bit of sophistication, are the ones that have had the most experiences that have appeared to be traumatic in their lives. So that means, people that are going through chemo, or people whose kids are suffering from some kind of impairment on themselves, or whatever. Like those are the people who, to me, say you understand the balance that needs to happen between taking something too far, just saying it for the sake of shock value, and saying something that is just trying to, again, change their point of view through disguising it as a joke.